like 64 yards to the pin. About 64 mile per hour winds.
Dude, there's no wind.
Hand me my 64-degree wedge.
What's it with you and 64?
Are you 64?
.com!
From the station that's on your side, this is News 12 at 6 o'clock.
A woman convicted of killing her husband and burying the body in their yard, sentenced to 20 years in prison. Family's words in court as Sandra Dales learned her fate. Coming up.
Plus, friends and family of a Columbia County marshal are praising all he does in the community as he recovers after being hit by a car on a call.
But first, we're tracking some showers moving into the area as we speak. Here's a live look at our First Alert radar network and a live look at I-20 behind us.
And you can see it is a rainy day out there. Be careful if you're heading out the door. Yesterday, we saw hail in Evans, flash flooding in Richmond County. Today, that risk is slightly elevated. So we've got Anthony Carpino standing by, monitoring the radar for us.
Yeah.
What can we expect out there?
Yeah, more showers and storms, guys, as we go through the next couple of hours. This good line of smoke coming up in just a few minutes. We'll talk about finally getting a chance to dry things up. That forecast is coming up soon. Guys, back to you.
Anthony, thanks. A Columbia County marshal and a sheriff's deputy both out of the hospital after being hit by a car at a Circle K gas station in Evans.
Both responded to the call of a woman possibly dancing around a store, crawling under shelves, acting very erratically. And the sheriff's office says she was having a mental episode and may have been under the influence. Tonight, David Willis and Christopher Robertson are home with their families. They're out of the hospital, thank goodness. But on the old News 12 at 6 o'clock, we have some new details on Marshal David Willis. Our Nick Veland talked to one of his friends who says he is a hero on and off the clock.
Police say that she was able to make it out of the store and into her car parked right here. Police then say that she put it in reverse, hitting a deputy. She then put it in a drive, running over this curb and into the ice machine, where then she hit the other officer. Marshal David Willis and Deputy Chris Robertson got hit around 2:30 yesterday. They both had support from family, friends, and the community. For Willis, he had super friends.
So Captain America called me, called Superman, and I said, "Whoa, what's going on?" He said, "Well, the Hulk just called me," and turns out David has been in this. He said accident. He'd been in an accident where he was kind of smashed up against some ice.
Yeah, you heard that right. Willis is a part of a group that visits kids in the hospital. He's Deadpool alongside other superhero friends, including Brian Williams. They've been friends for more than a decade and says he's one of the nicest people he knows.
That if the person that ran into him would have just talked to him, they'd probably have a friend now.
Not just in this case, but all the time. Always looking for ways to lend a helping hand.
He's always there for us. If he can do anything for us, he's going to do it.
Deputy Robertson is also known for being a servant in the community, jumpstarting cars and helping out his church. Things Willis's friend says has his group rooting for both of these public servants to recover.
Thank you guys for what you do. Thank you for helping us. Thank you for always being there for us. And David's gonna kill me now because I said I love you, David. I love you.
The marshal's office say it's too soon to comment on what happened here yesterday. The sheriff's office only comment was that both officers were out of the hospital. In Columbia County, Nick Veland on your side.
And it's good they're both out of the hospital so they can hear that praise. I know they want nothing to do with that kind of story.
Absolutely.
But
and
it's important.
We've heard it flowing in on social media how great both of these guys are. So they really saved a life too. If she'd have gotten behind the wheel of that car, gotten out on the road.
Good to know a little more about those guys. Well, 3 Richmond County murder suspects accused in a couple of separate killings now behind bars. Vincent Moultrie and Kenneth Williams both charged with the murder of Usani Unasa in the East Perimeter neighborhood. Ike Lang is charged with the murder and the death of 15-year-old Jordan Gaynor at the Get and Go gas station. The sheriff's office says Moultrie and Lang were in a high-speed chase this weekend with deputies before they were arrested. Kenneth Williams was arrested earlier this month.
2 months ago, Sandra Dale's trial ended after she killed her husband, and today she learned her fate.
In April, a jury found her guilty in the death of her husband, Eddie Curry. Investigators found his body buried in their yard.
Hallie Turner spoke with Eddie's family as this nightmare for their family finally comes to a close.
Yeah, not only has it been an emotional day, Eddie's family tells me they're glad to finally be getting off this emotional roller coaster that they've been on for the last 3.5 years. And now that it's all said and done, they say they're done.
I'm over that now. The devastation from seeing all of the pictures and things, the devastation of losing a son or a daughter you'll never get over.
Pain won't bring their son back, but the next best thing they say is a sentence.
30 years is about the best that we can hope for. She took his life. It's appropriate that she spend the rest of her life paying for it.
20 years is the amount Dales will spend behind prison bars.
Today is enough. Enough of the lies, enough of the stress, enough of the fitful nights, the sleepless nights, enough of wondering if they saw through her lies, enough of putting the sentence off and wondering if she was going to get off with 1 year and it's time already served. Enough, enough, enough.
Eddie's brothers say their eyes are now set on the future.
I'm not letting the defendant take away any more of my joy. I'm taking what she
Amen.
did to my family and using it for the glory of the Lord. That's all you can do, and I'm not letting her have any victory.
Never forgetting what they have been through.
I sat right by him as well on the carport, and I kept smelling this decaying smell, and the carport was just full of junk. And I could only imagine that the smell was, they had dogs, you know, so they had dog food on the carport. I thought it was a dead mouse, but I was sitting next to Eddie and I was smelling Eddie.
But putting their faith in God and remembering what Eddie taught them.
He said, when you get down, you stand back up, you brush it off, you pick yourself up by the bootstraps, and you move forward. You seize the day. You take every bad thing in your life and you turn it into a positive, and then it can't be used to hurt you.
When Sandra gets out of prison, she will be around 78 years old. And as of right now, there are no further conditions to her sentence.
Okay, an emotional day with no winners in this case, Hallie thinks.
Also today, the Lincoln County Board of Elections wants to consolidate polling locations right both sides of that. Alyssa, thanks so much.
If you live in Columbia County, your voice is wanted to talk about property taxes. The school board wants to adopt a millage rate that, if it passes, would increase your property taxes by 12.2%. So for you at home, that means property taxes on a home with a fair market value of $200,000, your taxes would go up $150 a year. Taxes on homes valued at $400,000, your taxes would go up by $300 a year. The board will meet throughout June and July to agree on that millage rate to fund the 2024 budget. The next meeting is June 29th at Grovetown High School around 4 p.m.
A sixth rabid raccoon has been found in the area in just over the last month. This time it's in Trenton. Here's a map showing where all of them have been spotted so far. One was in McDuffie County, 4 others in Columbia County, some in the Cottonwood and Canterbury Farms neighborhoods. Pet parents, don't let your pets roam free and make sure to stay up to date on those vaccines. Some tree stumps in Aiken are stirring up controversy there. We explain when News 12 at 6 o'clock continues.
And as you're heading out the door this evening, pack the umbrella. We're talking about more storms moving through the CSRA. A good band of showers and storms stretching from Wagner all the way across the CSRA to Washington. These storms are moving up to the north, and more storms are possible later on this evening and through the day tomorrow. Full check of the forecast when we come back. And Sunday, those temperatures will be a little bit warmer, closer to 90.
You know, for 37 years, Aiken's been recognized as a Tree City USA community, but somehow during renovations at the farmers market, 8 trees with some history tied to them were chopped down without any approval.
Now, as Taylor Martin reports, some are wondering how it happened and how we make sure it doesn't happen again.
This tree stump and 8 others like it used to be tall, providing shade for those who come to the Aiken Farmers Market every weekend. But one day into the Williamsburg Street Space project, it was cut down, leaving people across the community frustrated, and the city saying it never should have happened.
Up until May 31st, multiple trees of different species lined the street, including the slash pine Robert McCartney planted himself 20 years ago.
I was very upset that it was done because we had specimens of every pine species native to the southern United States.
According to the city, the original plan to revitalize the street space surrounding the farmers market included plans to chop down some trees, but the revised plans left some of the trees still standing. The question from the community: how did old plans get into the hands of the contractor who cut down the trees?
This was a situation where process and procedure wasn't followed and should have been.
But for some people, that answer is not enough.
No city meeting, no public hearing, no advance notice. What
is going to be done about this and what will prevent it in the future.
Moving forward, the city manager says there are going to be some policy changes to prevent this. For Lisa Smith, it's about more than policy. It's conversation as well.
Show us what's going to happen in the future on this project and other projects.
People in Aiken tell me moving forward, they'd like to have public hearings with city leaders to make sure something like this doesn't happen again. Reporting in Aiken, Taylor Martin, on your side.
FirstAlertRate.com.
After an accident, always call an experienced personal injury attorney first. Our winning team will protect your rights and see that you get the most money possible. That's the strong arm.
Proud partner of the Atlanta Braves.
A few city resources are still recovering from the cyber attack on Augusta. Our Craig Allison looks at Augusta's $7.6 million IT budget and how it compares to what other cities spend.
Everybody gets religion after an event like this.
Augusta's IT department is tying up what loose ends are left after cyber issues began to hit the city a month ago today. The city's last update saying all departments are back to normal except for geographic information systems, enterprise asset management, and solid waste. But one expert we talked to says he's seen companies spend more on IT security than the city does on its IT department.
If the IT department had a $7 million budget total for the city of Augusta, I would hazard to say that's probably small. Probably actually really small.
Jake Williams is a former NSA hacker with cyber experience that spans decades. We compared Augusta to 6 cities across the U.S. with similar population sizes. Augusta still spends the least percentage of their fiscal budget on IT. Fayetteville, North Carolina, for example, has a quarter of the size of Augusta's annual billion-dollar budget, but spends about the same on IT. In Columbus, Georgia, also with a city budget just above $250 million, they spend more than $6.5 million on IT, 1.3% higher than Augusta. In Augusta, Craig Allison, on your side.
And while the mayor says Augusta's cyber issue is not a budgetary problem, he says the city has put in more resources to be prepared if this ever happens again. Things like a system password reset, a new monitor system. They'll give us another progress report on Friday.
On your sideline, sports brought to you by the Hawk Law Group.
Earlier this month, North Augusta High School ended up they hired Richard Bush as their new head coach, and giving him the keys to this program moving forward. Him being a North Augusta native should be something moving forward that we'll be keeping an eye on. Now, when it comes to the impact players like quarterback Colson Brown and running back DJ Curry graduating, the Yellow Jackets have some holes to fill before kicking off the new season. There have been a lot of changes for North Augusta in recent years, but hiring someone who's beyond excited to coach the team he played for growing up could be a step towards building continuity moving forward.
It's just a great opportunity. This has always been a dream since I was 15 years old. When I decided, at 15 years old, I knew I wanted to be a coach, and this was always the goal, to be the coach of North Augusta High School. So it's a great opportunity. It's where I've always lived. No matter where I've coached at and taught at, I've always lived here. So this is home. This is where I want to be. It's where my family wants to be. It's an exciting time for everybody involved.
North Augusta opens up the new season against Evans on Friday, August 18th. The Jacksonville Jaguars have released images of what they want their new stadium to look like. The Georgia Bulldogs' annual rivalry game against the Florida Gators is played in Jacksonville every year. The Dogs are scheduled to play the Gators in Jacksonville through the 2025 season, but how will the new stadium impact the future of this rivalry? I'll take a deep dive into this topic tonight at 11. That's it for sports. We'll have one more look at their forecast after the break.
Are you turning 65 soon? At Augusta Medicare Specialist, we know how confusing Medicare can be. Let us guide you through the entire process. And by the way, you don't pay a penny for our services. Don't wait till you're 65 to call. Are64.com.
People come up to me all the time.
At Gerald Jones Honda.
At Savannah Medicare Specialist, we proudly serve Georgia and South Carolina. For a commitment-free consultation, please give us a call or visit our website, Are64.com.
All right, is your heading out the door this evening, still tracking a good line of showers and storms. Now moving north of Augusta, so places around the lake and just to the north of Aiken, also seeing some more of those heavier showers and storms along Edgefield Road in Edgefield County. That's going to continue to move closer to you, and downtown Edgefield likely seeing some more heavier showers within the next 20 minutes or so. Going closer to Clerks Hill Lake, some moderate showers there. Parksville also noticing some very heavy storm activity, probably good shelf cloud with some of those thunderstorms as well. This is all thanks to that area of low pressure now sitting just around the Atlanta area, so we're going to see more of that southerly flow as we go through this evening. So a few more scattered showers and storms not going to be ruled out a little bit later on this evening, but over the next hour or two for us here in Augusta, we'll get a chance to dry things up a little bit more. Still dealing with some more ominous skies over Grovetown right now, and just tracking more storms both tonight and tomorrow.
Our next live update is 7 o'clock on NBC 26.
And then we're back with more News 12 tonight at 11.